Hello, Happy New Year. Welcome. My name is Adejoke Agoro, and this is Healthy Edibles. At Healthy Edibles, we help you shop healthy so that you can eat healthy and live healthy. And today I have with me here Temi Osewa. She's a healthcare professional. So let's make welcome Temi. You're welcome, ma'am. So happy to have you here. Thank you so much for honoring our invitation.
It's good to be here. Good
Thank
day,
you,
everybody.
Okay. All right. Our topic for today is a health professional's view on the effect of eating unhealthy food on the organs of the body. Now, the truth is that quite a number of us know that unhealthy foods are bad for the body. However, we find ourselves eating this food. So today we're going to talk about it and then learn about the effect of eating this food on the body, on the organs in our body, so that we can be encouraged to make the right decisions on what we eat. All right. And we have three parts to this. The first part is what are unhealthy foods. The second part is the health effects of eating unhealthy food on the organs of the body from a health professional's perspective. And finally, we'll talk about recommendations on making the right choices on what to eat. All right. So to the first question, what are unhealthy foods? I know that there's the part of highly processed food being very unhealthy to the body. There's also street food, like street food for the fact that they are on the streets. And then eating out generally because of the fact that we really cannot tell how this food was made, how much quantity of salt is in it, or even oil. So all of these factors contribute to making food unhealthy. Can you please speak to this, Ma?
All right. Thank you again for having me here. When we talk about healthy and unhealthy food, let me start by saying that Nigerian food is quite healthy.
Wow.
But yeah, but we should understand that everything should be taken in moderation. It is because of the moderations that we find people having problem with it. So what do we mean by healthy food? Food that contain all the balanced diets that contain the right food classes in the right proportions. We know that we need protein. We know that we need carbohydrates. We know that we need even fats and oil. All of these foods help us to maintain a balanced diet, and they, in other words, affect our everyday lifestyle, our health, up to the health of the future generations coming after us.
Wow.
Because it is what it is inside you that becomes part of your DNA that you pass on to your children. So what you eat, we should actually be very careful about what we eat, how we eat, when we eat. Thank you.
Wow, what we eat, how we eat, when we eat. Can you speak a little more about that? I mean, particularly about when we eat.
Okay, let me start with, people have said that you should make sure that the last meal you take should be at least 2 hours before you go to bed. I'm believing that 2 hours before you go to bed does not mean that after you've had your last meal, you just sit down. No, you need to burn that meal. At least let it get out of your stomach. That is why you see people, especially people as they grow older, in their 20s, 30s, 40s, you see that it's harder for you. Even if you lose your weight, sometimes you will not lose the weight around your tummy because that's one stubborn place where fat stays. And the food that you eat, the exercises that you do, your daily activities determine whether that food will get out of your body or not, or it just stays there. Number one. Number two, the fact that there should be a balance between your intake and output. If you want to live, if you want to lose weight, if you want to try to lose weight, which is what most people are going to be talking about, they will tell you about making a calorie deficit, which is that what you eat is less than what you will pass. So that when you eat something, you don't eat it and then store the energy within. You don't store it. You let it all out. By the time you start storing the energy, that is what you see as fat. Medically, we found out that when people, in fact, before you start to say that somebody has added fat, if for any reason we get to see inside their bodies, which we call cadavers, dead bodies now, you will see that there are layers of fat under people's skin. Before you say, this person has become honorable. That person already has layers of fat. In other words, by the time you show us that you are fat, your organs are covered with fat. So your organs cannot do what they should do well. They are not working at their optimum. So what you have to do is to, like I said, remember what I said earlier, Nigerian food is good. It is moderation that matters. Moderation and the time that we eat this food. You can eat eba, you can eat fufu, you can eat anything that you want to eat, but make sure that your body burns it. Make sure that your body uses it. So I will advise that if you are eating all of those heavier foods, make sure it's in the afternoon, when you still have a long time to walk, and then you eat light at night before you go to bed. And your last meal before you go to bed must be at least 2 hours before you go to bed, so that your system, like we said, light meal, so that it's easier for your system to get rid of it. And don't eat anything heavy that will store in your body. I hope I've answered your question.
Yes, and so enlightening. I love the part where you mentioned that many times when you have this is it like an examination of the body, it's possible for someone to have fat in their body and they're still looking skinny. Then later it begins to reflect in the body. So I would actually like you to speak to that, because you mentioned that when we now begin to see the fats reflect in the body is when the fats are started to cover the organs.
How do I go about this? We are not saying that you shouldn't. If you look at my cheeks, I like good food. Me too, I eat very well. But the rule of the game is eating healthy. The rule of the game is eating healthy and eating in the right proportion, in moderation. You are not eating like you are going to die. You are not eating like they are going to sell you into slavery. You are not eating like food is going out of fashion. You have not been created for food.
Yes.
You are not a food. The reason why we should eat is to have the energy to carry out our daily activities. So we need to stop eating like we are thieves. There's no food again. So eating healthy, it's not like you will not have these fats. You can't, especially when you get to a certain age in life. It's harder for your body to metabolize, to break down those fats the older you get. When you get to your reproductive years, when you start to have peace of mind, see, when you marry or you start to have children, even the man, he's not the man that is pregnant too, but because he has a wife that is cooking good food for him, he will add weight. But like I said earlier, moderation, wisdom is the key. You will add weight. But it's wisdom that is the key. Moderation is the key. You don't eat too much. You don't eat like there's no more food at all. You love this food. You can eat it every day, but in moderation, and make sure it's balanced. When you look at your plate. Medically, they say that half of your plate should be vegetables. In other words, when you have a plate, at least around half of the volume of food on your plate should be vegetables, which is where our eforiro comes in, which is where our edikaikong comes in. That is if bearing in mind that you have not overcooked this food, because food preparation is also important. Let me divert towards that food preparation. I've seen people that don't know how to make vegetables. Once you boil vegetables, you are losing the nutrients that you need.
Wow.
Once, I've seen Yoruba, especially Yorubas, they will cut the vegetables and then they will rinse it. And then they will now boil it. See that rinsing that you rinsed after you cut it. If you notice, it's green water that is going away, that you are rinsing away. That's the nutrients that should be. So the rule of the game is wash your vegetables, then you cut them. Then if it is like all this our tete and all of that you want to steam a little bit, steaming should not be more than 1 minute.
More than
1 minute, not more than a minute. Just enough, just put it inside the hot water, take it out, and immediately you take it out of the hot water, pour cold water on it so that the process of steaming stops. You don't want to be eating ordinary leaves. You want to eat the nutrients.
Wow.
And so I've spoken about how to cook those vegetables. Don't eat too much fat and oil. I'm not one of those that believe that palm oil is not good. Like I said, the rule of the game, this is a game, moderation. Use your palm oil in moderation. Don't be letting your palm oil swim. And if it's a type of food that you have to cook, for example, ayamashi, you know that when you're cooking that, there's a lot of vegetable oil that you use for it. Once you finish, you don't have to eat. You're not swallowing the oil now. Scoop it out. Scoop the oil out. Everybody has a percentage. Everybody has fat under their body, whether you look fat or not. Everybody is part of the way, just the same way we all have muscles and skeletons. Everybody has fat. Yes, but the percentage of your fat depends on how much you eat and how well you eat. Let me use that word. How balanced your food is. Fat is necessary for the body. We call it adipose tissues. It is what helps you to keep warm. Most of the time. Although you might be wearing sweaters or you may not even need to wear sweater. That is why you see there are two people. One is feeling cold and one is feeling hot. It may be hormones. It may be any other thing, but most likely it may be fat tissues underneath their skin. So your fat tissue may be more, your fat tissue may be less, but what we are trying to guard against is having the fat tissues surrounding your organs and preventing your organs from working at their optimum. You don't want to be sick because you have eaten too much. You want to be able to balance things out. Food is for the body to maintain energy, just to maintain energy. You have not been created to eat food. You've been created to enjoy life, to have relationships, to study, to excel at whatever you want to do. Food will help you to maintain the energy you need around these areas. Like I said earlier, good food, your heaviest food should be in the afternoon when you have enough time of the day to break it down. And you should not eat too much. Like I said, calorie deficit. You should not eat too much for the day. Unless you are pregnant, even at pregnancy too, be careful what you eat because you don't want to give birth to a giant baby. You remember that the baby is coming out from down there. You don't want to push out a giant baby. So you have to be careful how much you eat. Have I answered that question?
Yes, Ma, you have. Thank you so much. That's so much knowledge, and I'm grateful for that. Thank you. I would like you to speak to how we can attain energy deficit. I remember that you mentioned that when we eat, we should eat in moderation. And the important thing is that even as we eat, we ensure that because it becomes stored energy that has to be let go. So what are the practical ways in which we can dissipate energy?
When people are trying to get energy deficits, I always advise people to start with, when it's time for your food, drink a cup of water before you eat.
Okay.
Drink a cup of water. At that, your tummy is half full, but it's still waiting for food, right? But it is half full already. So when you are eating, like I said earlier, the way you prepared that food, it's not just about the amount of food that you ate. The way that food was prepared too matters. You cannot have too much salt in your food. You cannot have too much fat or oil in your food. You should have a proportion, which includes vegetable, which includes your protein, and which includes your carbohydrates and your fat and oil. Because fat and oil is inside the let me break the vegetable down. I was talking about our normal for shoko, and I'm a Yoruba person, so I'll be speaking from that perspective. Shoko and tete. When the normal person will pluck it from the stem and shred it or cut it, and then they will rinse it to take the stones and the dirt away.
Yeah.
And then they will add hot water to it for some minutes, and then they will now put it inside the stock. You know, the pepper that you have already started cooking with the meat and all of that, egusi and whatever. You will now add the vegetable to it. There's a better way. You are trying, but there's a better way to do it. The better way is that when you pluck your vegetable, you rinse it. Some people add salt to it to take away the dirt. Some people add vinegar to take away the dirt. Whatever you want to add to it, add it to it there with cold water. And then you take it out of the cold water and you start to slice it with your knife. Because if you remember, if you slice it before you rinse it, you will see green water washing away. That's the nutrients that you need, that you have just washed away. So if you slice it after the cold water, slice it, and then get your hot water, pour it inside it for just 1 minute. 1 minute is okay. You will understand why I said 1 minute now. Immediately it is that 1 minute, take it out with maybe sieves and dump it inside cold water. Some people even add ice to their cold water so that it's very frozen to stop the process of getting the chlorophyll. That's the green part of the leaf. To get it from going out is the nutrients that you need. If you leave it in hot water too long, you are just eating fiber. You're just eating, I don't know how to call it, that green is just, you're not eating the whole nutrient again. You're just eating the fiber. So you want to put it inside cold water to stop that process of removing the nourishment. And then you put it inside the pepper that you have already cooked, because vegetable is the last thing that you do. You put inside your vegetables pot. So you just mix it so that's all even if it's still going to shed the nutrients, the green part, it's shedding it inside your pot and you are eating it at the end of the day. You have your nutrients balance.
Wow.
That is, we're talking about vegetable. We spoke about carbohydrates. Our carbohydrates are like eba, fufu, starch, and whatever it is, what they call it, from the northern parts of Nigeria now. All of these foods, they are mostly tuwo. They are mostly carbohydrates. And your carbohydrate is also good, but you shouldn't eat too much carbohydrates. Eat more vegetable, eat a little carbohydrate, eat your meat or your fish. Now, when it comes to meat, we have some lean meat that if you want to have, I'm talking for the person that wants calorie deficit. It's not you that you want to gain weight. If you want to have the calorie deficit, we have parts of meat that is quite easy, that will not add too much weight to you. Goat meat is one of them. When you're eating your chicken, eat it without the skin. Especially the breast part of the chicken, that is very lean meat. You can eat that one. And then your fishes are very good also. I think I'm not a fish person, so I will not be 100% correct. But you know that there are some fishes, catfish. When you eat catfish, example, the fresh one, you will taste the fat there. You can taste fat in catfish. Maybe so when it's roasted, it will be better. it will have better nutrients for you. So the process is not cooking food for too long, not frying food for too long, and eat in the right proportion. Like I said, drink water before you start. Once you drink water, you will not be so hungry to eat too much food. And in between meals, please drink water. After your meal, drink water.
Wow. Thank you so much, Ma. So much advice. I mean, and we're taking this advice, we're taking everything, we're going to practice cooking vegetables this way so that we store the nutrients and it helps our body. Thank you so much, Ma. We're going to move on to the next question now. It's on the effect of eating unhealthy food on the organs of the body from a healthcare professional's perspective. And the reason we are having this question is so that we are all encouraged to make the right decisions on eating. Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. So eating the effects of bad food, imbalanced diet. It's I said it at the introduction that it may not just end up with you. It may go on to future generations, because as you begin to eat unhealthy food, it modifies your genetic makeup, and you can pass that on to your children. That is why how you see people that say that they inherited asthma, they inherited obesity. You can inherit these things, you can pass it on. They inherited diabetes. Yes, you can pass it on. Now, good nutrition is essential to keeping current and future generations healthy across the lifespan. And a healthy diet helps children grow and develop properly and reduces their risk of chronic diseases. Adults who also eat healthy diets, they live longer, they live better, they have a lower risk of obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and certain cancers. So the type of food that you eat can affect these disease conditions, can bring these disease conditions or send them away. Disease conditions like obesity, that's when you gain too much weight, like heart diseases, like type 2 diabetes, because there's type 1, there's type 2, there's type 3. Type 2 diabetes especially, and certain types of cancers. The type of food can determine if you have these conditions. Healthy eating can help people with chronic diseases manage these conditions and avoid complications. I have come across patients. They did not tell me about these patients. I met these patients that had, I especially remember one, this was about 15 years ago, that had diabetic foot. That means the foot had a sore that was not healing, and they were meant to amputate the leg. This is a real life story that happened between me and a patient. So I just told the patient they were not able to book him up for a surgery. So I told him, we'll continue to dress your wound and you will eat healthy between now and then. I was dressing that wound. When I started, he could not feel. He had lost sensation on that limb. He could not feel the leg anymore. But I dressed the leg regularly for about, I can't remember, this is about 15 years ago now. But I was constantly dressing the leg for him until one day he told me, I can feel that on my leg. I said, what? He said, I can feel you touching my leg. So I told him to close his eyes and I made a movement. I said, tell me what direction I'm going. He said, you're going from bottom to top. I was so happy. Everybody on the ward, all the health caregivers were so happy. Now I left that ward and I had to go back to school because I was a student then. And some months later, I came back to the ward and I asked after this man. Did I tell you earlier that they were meant to amputate the leg because the leg goes down? They did not amputate the leg.
Wow.
He walked home with his two legs intact. That is what good food and good health care can do to you.
Wow.
See, as medical personnel, when we give you medications, that's the last alternative. You can help yourself with eating right, with exercise, diet and exercise are wonderful. It is when you cannot help yourself, or it has gotten, we don't have enough time for you to help yourself, that will introduce medications. And I hope you all know that medications have side effects. The same way you will eat food and it will add too much fat to you. If you take medication, it's going into your system. It will be working well and touching all the organs. Plus the one is meant to touch and the one is not meant to touch. It will work well, but there may be side effects, which is why you see some people take chloroquine and say they start to itch. It's curing the malaria, but it's also making them itch. So you can do yourself a lot of favor by eating well, exercising, having a good mental health before you even think of medication.
Wow.
So we were talking about the diseases that come
eating
healthy food.
I've
mentioned obesity. See, obesity, a lot of people battle with obesity. And you know that the more you go bigger, the more it affects your leg, because it's your leg that is carrying your body. So such a person has the risk of having arthritis in future. Be careful of what you eat and how you eat it. We will go to heart diseases. I was talking about sometimes the organ is encapsulated by fat. It will not be able to work effectively. Sometimes the blood vessels, we call something it's going to be a tongue twister for me now. Atherosclerosis or something like that. That means that in the arteries, the blood vessels are occluded by fat. So the volume of blood that is meant to pass through, it has narrowed it down, meaning that your heart may not be getting sufficient amount of blood. Or if it is taking blood away from the heart, it's not able to move it fast. If it affects the brain, you are looking for trouble. If it affects the heart, you are looking. So all of these things, they work hand in hand. All of these organs of the body, they work hand in hand. Don't let your organs be clogged by fat. Another one is, I mentioned diabetes.
Yes, ma'am.
Diabetes can get so severe that you may need to take antidiabetics every day. And some go as far as needing insulin injection every day. Injection, at the end of the day, you cannot be paying somebody to come and give you injection 3 times a day. You will learn to give yourself injections. So you don't want that wahala. You need to eat healthy. Another one is certain types of cancers. Cancer is cancer. But some of them are brought about by unhealthy eating. All of these things, they are not balanced diets. They will not give you they will just give you sugar. That's not what you need. It is such foods that lead to diabetes. It can even affect the ability of a man or a woman to reproduce if you're not eating right.
Wow.
It can affect their ability to reproduce. I have a writing here. Yeah, diseases like asthma. It increases the susceptibility to illnesses and chronic diseases. Anemia. If you're not eating right, you will have anemia. And once you have anemia, that's how you see people getting dizzy. That's how you see some people, they will get hot like this. Blood will not be coming out. That's not normal, though. That's not normal. Mental health, it affects the mental health too. Some of these these foods just make you hyper. Have you noticed that when you have children, they tell you not to give them sweets or biscuits?
Yes.
I have seen children go hyper. You just see them climbing you just see them climbing everywhere. And you should be wondering, what is wrong with this child?
Wow.
And it can also affect the digestive and the cardiovascular. See, as long as the part of the body is inside your body, it will affect it. Thank you
Wow.
very much.
Wow, wow. Thank you so much, Ma. I feel when you mentioned that eating healthy and healthcare goes hand in hand. And it also, the kind of food we eat, it helps us to actually live healthy. Then the fact that when we are eating healthy, it really does help us avoid a lot of diseases and sicknesses. And the point where a person is not able to do the needful by eating healthy is when they need to take medications, and medications have side effects, and even eating unhealthy could cause sicknesses and illnesses that affect a person's present generation and even the next generation that is not even aware of the choices that a person is making concerning the kind of food they are eating. Wow, thank you so much for this. So the next and final question: what are your recommendations on eating healthy now that we shared all of what we shared on the effect of eating unhealthy food on the organs of the body? We shared it so that we are encouraged to actually make the right decisions when we know that this is what happens inside my body when I am this size, when I am eating this. This is what goes on in my body. This is the reason people have all of these kind of sicknesses to an extent, right? So the question now is your recommendation on what we can do, because when we started, we mentioned that some of us know that this food is unhealthy, but we still eat it anyway. So how can we go about doing the right thing, eating the right food, bearing in mind that now that we have heard that, okay, this is not the way to go?
Yeah, thank you very much. The first thing I will say is that the human nature is a funny nature. Once you say, don't do this, that is the thing that you want to do. So if I say, don't eat out, that is, yes, today you will see this food that you like. Tomorrow is another food that you like. The next one is another food. You just find temptations every day. I'm not going to tell you not to eat out. I'm going to tell you to eat with sense and in moderation. Bearing it in mind that these foods that you eat out, they cook it, they don't, especially if you have a pre-existing health condition, you cannot afford to eat out. It's hurting you more than anything. Because when they are cooking that food, they're not thinking that this gentleman has this condition. They will put salt. They will fry the meat, fry the fish. And doctor said that you should limit the amount of salt you are taking. And you are eating the same volume of salt that everybody is taking. So if you have a pre-existing health condition, you have to desist. That one, desist from eating out. Learn to cook. You can cook what you like, what you want. It's easier for you to put all those things that you like in your food. If it is snails that you like, put it there. If it is shrimps that you like, put it there. It's easier for you to cook such things when you are to put such things when you are cooking for yourself. You know what you like. If you like spicy food, add the spices. Learn to cook for yourself. Learn to eat the right amount of food. Learn the right process of cooking.
Yes.
Don't expose yourself to what's the word? There's a word that is coming to me, but I will have to use it, but that's not entirely what I mean. We call some things carcinogenous. That means they cause cancer. Nobody can say that this is what causes cancer. Definitely this causes cancer or this does not, but they know that there are factors that contribute to it. The more you live a risky health, practice risky food eating, the more the probability of having all of these conditions. So learn to cook the food that you like. If you have good electricity around your area, cook in bulk so that you can refrigerate it and take it out bit by bit. You can get fresh. You don't know that mama puts that you like their food. You don't know the type of pepper that they used to cook it to. You know all those pepper that have maggots inside. You say it's animal protein. It's not animal protein. So you should learn to cook your own food. Cook it the way you like and eat in moderation. I've told you, make water your friend. I can speak for some people that don't like to drink water. I don't like to drink water, and I'm a health professional. Let me tell you what I do to myself. The reason why I don't like to drink water, I can take fluids, but I don't like water because it has a bland taste. I want things that have taste. When I was younger, I used to put a cube of sugar in that was when I did not know. Now, what I do is that I might take orange juice or mint. I will just slice the orange or lemon or even apple cider vinegar. I can just put a teaspoon inside the bottle of water and drink it. It has taste. It's just a taste that I want. And it will help me drink. I've been practicing, to tell you the truth, in January.
Wow.
I found out that I had gained so much weight up till December. And so I started practicing this thing, as well as eating well. I'd been eating well anyway. I don't eat out. And then I started some exercise. Exercise that were low-level exercise because after coming from work, I'm tired. I don't have the energy. But within 10 minutes, I'm done with this exercise. 20 minutes, I'm done. I don't pant after this exercise. Believe you me, within a month, I lost 4 kg.
Wow.
And it's not because my body burns fat fast. It's because of consistency. It's because I put my mind to it.
Wow, consistency.
Anybody can do it too. If you don't like the way you are looking, don't start complaining. Don't do something about it. Eat well. I've told you before you start your meal. Don't be tasting. When you're saying that I'm tasting. That's part of your food, though. I hope you know that that's part of the you're supposed to take. So don't be saying you're tasting, and then you've eaten half of the pot of food already. If you've tasted so much, just drink water and go outside and do your work. Activities that help us burn fats, that help us burn energy. You know, when you see a man that is a bricklayer or a carpenter, you say that this one is using plenty energy. Yeah. Let me also put it so that if you're a student, you also burn energy. You burn almost the same. A research has found out that you burn almost the same amount of energy when you're studying, actively studying.
Okay. Thank you so much, Ma. And thank you all for joining us and for watching this video. I believe that we have learned a lot. And just like we mentioned when we started, the purpose of this session is so that we are encouraged to make the right decisions concerning eating healthy. So I would like to leave us with these words, that we have learned today. I mean, everything we've learned so much. And I would like to encourage us to just now go on and begin to make the right decisions. Thank you for joining us. Till we meet you again, we love you so much. Bye-bye for now.
Bye.